This is the Q6 e-tron, an electric car that Audi is calling a major milestone in their journey towards full electrification. It is based on an all-new electrical architecture, PPE, Premium Platform Electric, that has been co-developed with Porsche. In fact, the Macan Electric shares the same platform with the Q6 e-tron, and the Q6 e-tron also previews an all-new interior concept for Audi, along with a new electrical architecture. In this video, we're going to dive into all those details. But before we go ahead, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned to the Evo India channel. Before we go ahead, a quick run through on the electric platforms that the vast Volkswagen Group utilizes. Now, the Q8 e-tron, which was earlier the e-tron, that runs the MLB Evo platform, which has been adapted from the ICE platforms. Then there is the MEB, which a lot of brands within the group share. So the Audi Q4 e-tron, the Q5 e-tron, which is China only, that has the MEB platform. Also the upcoming Skoda Enyaq iV and the Volkswagen ID4, both of which are coming to India this year, that also has the MEB platform, which is a born electric platform. Then there is the J1 performance platform that the Porsche Taycan and the Audi e-tron GT, both of them use. And now we have the PPE shared between the Q6 e-tron and the Porsche Macan. At the heart of it is an all-new lithium-ion battery that is made by Audi in the world's biggest manufacturing plant for batteries. It has got 100 kilowatt-hour of gross output with 94.9 kilowatt-hour of usable output. It has got 180 prismatic cells in 12 modules in this battery pack. It has got a 800-volt architecture, maximum charging speed of 270 kilowatt. Now, if you have access to an ultra-fast charger that gives you 270 kilowatt, you can get 255 kilometers of range in 10 minutes flat. 10 to 80% state of charge takes just 21 minutes. And the Q6 e-tron, that has a WLTP range of 625 kilometers. This is a newly developed modular drive system consisting of three main components: electric motor, power electronics, and transmission. And all the detailed work that has gone into it has been with one goal: a higher degree of efficiency. These units are more compact than the Volkswagen Group's current electric models and have a scalable design, which means that the torque output can be varied by changing the length of the stator in the electric motor. It has also switched from wet sump to dry sump lubrication, and this one change to dry sump lubrication has given them 5 kilometers of extra range. Range is everything, and the motors are also quieter. It's an Audi, it has to have quattro, so you have two motors. At the front, you have an asynchronous motor, ASM motor, with a torque rating of 275 Newton meters. At the rear, you have a larger motor that is rated for 570 Newton meters, and this is a permanent magnet synchronous motor, PSM motor. Now, there are two different types of motor. The front axle motor is a boost motor, so that comes into play when you need more performance, more sportiness. Otherwise, it is decoupled from the drive system with very little transmission losses. An ASM motor works very well for boost purposes. The PSM motor out here, that is your main traction motor, and a PSM motor is more efficient in that operation. Now, this is also scalable. So if you want more power, you increase the stator length in the electric motor and you can get more power. And if you want a slightly lower spec version, the Q6 e-tron right now is with quattro, but in the future, there will be a rear wheel drive only model. So that front motor can be completely taken out, and also that will save weight. The front motor is around 87.5 kilograms and the rear motor is around 125 kilograms. And how does this translate on the road? The Q6 e-tron has a total system output of 382 bhp. That gives you 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds and a top speed of 210 kilometers per hour. earlier in the day, we drove the Q6 e-tron complete with the full camouflage. So I've got these shaky iPhone shots. That's launch control on the Q6. And we also drove the SQ6 e-tron. That also might be coming to India because Audi India, they've categorically not said no. They haven't said no, the SQ6 is not coming to India. So that gives us hope. And the SQ6, well, that has got more power, 483 bhp, and with launch control activated, 510 bhp, 0 to 100 in 4.3 seconds, and a top speed of 230 kilometers per hour. So a proper performance SUV, electric performance SUV. The styling is typically Audi. You have the single frame grille, but Audi is calling this the inverted grille, and this is really cool. These are the digital lights. So the headlamps are split. You have the digital light on top, you have the matrix LED lights below that, and this graphics can be changed. There are 8 different graphics. In fact, we have a cutaway of the graphics of both the front lights as well as the OLEDs in the tail lamps. Let me show you that. So this is a simulation of what all the digital lights on the Q6 e-tron can do. So this is your left indicator, the right indicator, the low beam, and the first signature. This signature can change. So this is the active signature, your cornering lights, your high beam. This is the demo of the signature on the lights. So a lot of functionality, but it's even cooler on the rear. So out here on the rear, as you can see, this has got OLEDs along with LEDs, and the OLEDs is what allows it to have all these little graphics inside over there. Now this can alter. So as you can see, the graphics are changing. There are different signatures out there. Let me grab the iPad and show you what you can do with all the other lighting. So this is when there's a hazard, so you have the warning triangle out there. Again, when you're parking, this is to warn cyclists or bikers that you're parking. This is when you go close to the car. This is the proximity warning. So Audi calls this car to X, where it is trying to communicate with the other people on the road and keep them away from dangers, or at least keep the owner of the Q6 e-tron away from dangers. But this is really cool, and this is a world first in terms of so much of functionality in your tail lamps. The wheelbase of the Q6 e-tron is 2899 mm. Now, as a frame of reference, that's 80 millimeters more than the Q5. And the Q6 e-tron is the electric version, the electric brother of the combustion engine Q5. Now, the longer wheelbase also liberates more space in the rear quarters. So the driver's seat is adjusted to my driving position, and I still have some 2-3 inches of free knee room. There is ample amount of headroom, and because this is an electric platform, it's got a flat floor. So actually it can squeeze in 5 people. The Q6 e-tron also previews Audi's new interior architecture. If you're used to Audis, and all Audis are the same, right? The A4, the A6, the A8, all have more or less similar. This is brand new. Everything changes. So you have what Audi calls the MMI panoramic screen. This is a curved screen, and Audi says it's not just done for style, and it does look very nice, but it's also done for ergonomics. So were this a flat screen, you probably will have to reach out a bit for the last icons, but here, because it is curved, ergonomics are better. You can reach out these to tap these last icons. Now, what do you get? You get an 11.9-inch virtual cockpit. You get a 14.5-inch MMI touch, and out here you get a 10.9-inch screen for your passenger. We'll come to the passenger side in a bit. I'll bring your attention back to the MMI touch. Now, this is completely different, very different from all the Audis that we know. So you have these 8 icons out here. That is permanently fixed, and you got the 3 tiles. Now you can change what you want in the tiles. So suppose you don't want weather out here, you long tap this and you can actually have Alexa out there. You can change the graphics of the clock. You can also change, so now I got drive select out here, but suppose I don't want that. I can change this to something else. I can change this to the car charging. So the charging status comes here. Swipe. Now you get your maps out here. You get your music player in the second icon. You swipe again, and this is interesting. This is Audi's digital assistant, and it is AI powered. So you can ask it a lot of things, the usual stuff like, hey Audi, I want to drop my windows. All of that happens on versions equipped with a sunroof. Hey Audi, open the sunroof. All of that can be done, but this will also give you predictive suggestions. So suppose you are on an expressway. The car will tell you to switch on your seat massagers because you have been doing a few more miles in the car. So it is a predictive tool for you. They also say it's got some 800 commands that you can bark at it. It also has an augmented head-up display, so that is your fourth screen. Now, let me bring your attention to the virtual cockpit. So again, this is oriented in 3 tiles, and you can also switch it to one single big frame out here. You can change the display. So on the left, you have your trip computer, you have your date and time, recuperation modes, the short-term memory. On the right, you have your navigation, you have your media player. So all of that is on the right. Overall, Audi has reduced all the haptic buttons. They want you to use more touch and more voice. That also frees up the space. So you have a lot of space out here, but you have the hard controls. Like I said, this is your gear selector. In terms of recuperation, I must point this out. Now, the paddles, you can adjust the levels of recuperation out here. This now gets single pedal driving. The Q8 e-tron did not have full one pedal driving, but if you put it into the B mode, the boost mode, you get one pedal driving. And they've also adjusted the recuperation in a way to maximize efficiency. 30% of the range comes from recuperation. So your initial bit of braking, that comes from your rear axle, the electric motor on the rear axle. You want a little bit more braking, then the front electric motor comes into play. Then you want some more braking, then the friction brakes on the front axle come into play. And finally, when you want like proper braking, then the friction brakes on the rear axle come into play. And also, if you also do full ABS braking, that time also the recuperation comes into play. So 30% of your range comes from recuperation. Everything is about maximizing the range and efficiency. Okay, long story on recuperation, that's out. Let me bring your attention now to the passenger screen. So again, you have these 3 tiles. You can also go to YouTube. And what Audi says is that because this is an LCD screen, the other screens are OLEDs, so the driver will not get distracted while YouTube is playing for the passenger. But what they haven't figured out is how to cut out the audio. So if your passenger is watching YouTube videos, then you will be listening to their audio. Now, while on the subject of audio, this has got a new Bang & Olufsen system. I think some 800 watts, 20 speakers, out of which 2 are in the headrest. So the front headrests have also got inbuilt speakers. And this is interesting because suppose your phone is connected via CarPlay or Android Auto wirelessly. Obviously, you also have wireless charging. Then your phone calls, somebody talking to you, plays out through your headrest speaker. So your passengers can't really clearly get what the person is saying. So it also gives you a little bit of privacy. Small little details, but all of that goes a long way into improving the entire driving experience. You also have these colors around. So ambient lighting, some 74 ambient lighting. And if you notice, when you press your hazard lights, the edges start to flash in a different color. So nice little touches. And honestly, I really like it. Audi cabins to me have always been really nice in terms of the materials, in terms of the ergonomics. Here, it all just takes a leap forward, brings Audi on par, if not better than their rivals. To sum up, I got my notes here, and compared to the earlier architecture that the group uses, the PPE platform, it gives more power, up by 62%, more torque, up by 68%, and the drive unit consumption has gone down by half, by minus 50%. And that means for the entire car, performance is up by 33%, costs are down by 15%, and the vehicle energy consumption is down by 30%. So it has got everything that we want: more range, better performance, better efficiency, and of course the styling, the way this has been put together is very nice. Now, India plans. I expect that this will be showcased in India towards the end of this year and launched in India early next year. It will slot in under the Q8 e-tron. So you're looking at around 80-90 lakh rupees. What do you think of Audi's Q6 e-tron? Let us know in the comments, and thank you for watching.